Out there, beyond the last touch of sunlight, Voyager 2 drifts in silence. To most people, it's just an old machine, launched almost 50 years ago, carrying golden records and humanity's fingerprints into the infinite night. We imagine it coasting endlessly, sending back the occasional whisper of charged particles or faint magnetic fields, nothing more than background noise in a universe that doesn't care. But what if that wasn't the whole story? What if the silence wasn't empty at all? For years, Voyager's journey has been uneventful, the steady hum of data matching what scientists expected. Until recently, when something changed. The probe began to pick up signals that weren't supposed to exist, patterns that seemed too deliberate, too structured to be chance. And behind those signals, movement, an object in the dark, shifting with purpose, closing in on the path Voyager 2 carved through interstellar space. What it found out there wasn't just physics and particles, it was something else. Something that seemed to be watching. Something that might have noticed us back. Voyager 2 wasn't just drifting aimlessly through space. It was following a path humanity had charted decades earlier, a silent messenger carrying the dreams and data of our species. Launched nearly 50 years ago, it had already passed Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and even Pluto, leaving the familiar gravitational pull of the solar system behind. Scientists expected a quiet voyage beyond the helipause, the invisible boundary where the sun's influence fades and interstellar space begins, a realm of dust, magnetic fields, and near-perfect emptiness. The instruments on board were designed for precision, able to detect the faintest fluctuations in plasma waves or charged particles, but nothing in their decades of readings had hinted at life, movement, or deliberate design. For years, the data flowed in as expected, minor anomalies dismissed as cosmic noise, small blips explained by solar winds or aging sensors. Then, almost imperceptibly, something changed. A spike appeared in the plasma wave readings, brief and rhythmic, pulsing in a way that didn't match the random chaos of space. Engineers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory stared at the screens, initially skeptical, assuming it was a glitch or interference. But the pattern repeated, stronger each time, almost like a heartbeat in the void. It wasn't noise, it was a signal. And for the first time, Voyager 2 had encountered something that wasn't just drifting, it was moving with intent. At first, the anomaly seemed almost insignificant. Just a tiny irregularity among countless streams of data, easy to dismiss. But as the readings continued, it became impossible to ignore. Voyager 2's instruments began detecting motion. An object roughly 500,000 kilometers away, moving in a way that defied explanation. It wasn't following the predictable paths of comets, asteroids, or rogue planets. Its trajectory adjusted subtly, almost as if it were aware of the probe's presence, shadowing its course through the endless dark. Independent astronomers and deep space observers quickly confirmed the movement. It wasn't a malfunction, it wasn't cosmic debris, and it certainly wasn't random. Every measurement pointed to a single conclusion. Voyager 2 had company. Something out there was tracking it, following at a distance, unseen, yet deliberate, as if studying every signal the probe sent. The realization sent a ripple through the scientific community. For decades, humanity had imagined the vast emptiness beyond the solar system as quiet, sterile, and lifeless. But now it seemed clear that we were not alone. The universe, for all its silence, had an observer, and it had just made itself known. Then came the signal that defied all expectation. Buried within Voyager 2's telemetry, engineers discovered a series of pulses unlike anything the probe had ever transmitted on its own. At first glance, it appeared as random binary data, but when plotted visually, patterns emerged, shapes that resembled glyphs, spirals, and intersections, structures reminiscent of early human symbols yet impossibly precise. Teams of AI linguists and astrophysicists analyzed the sequences, running algorithms to determine whether it was natural interference or deliberate design. The results were unsettling. The patterns matched no known cosmic phenomenon and seemed intentionally constructed, as if someone or something was embedding a message into the void. Questions spread quickly. Was this a warning, an observation, or an invitation? The implications were staggering. Voyager 2 had not simply stumbled upon an anomaly, it had intercepted communication that could only have originated from an intelligence capable of understanding and manipulating interstellar space. For the first time, the boundary between the mechanical and the sentient seemed to blur, leaving scientists and observers grappling with a terrifying thought: whatever was out there wasn't passive, and it had noticed us. The discovery didn't stop with Voyager 2. Digging into decades-old data, a young intern at NASA stumbled upon a brief anomaly in Voyager 1's telemetry, recorded nearly 40 years earlier in the same region of interstellar space. At the time, it had been dismissed as static, a minor glitch in an otherwise uneventful journey. But now, with modern AI-powered analysis, the waveform revealed an uncanny resemblance to Voyager 2's recent readings. The alignment was almost perfect, suggesting that this wasn't the first encounter at all. It was the second. Something had been there all along, silently observing humanity's emissaries as they ventured into the void. The realization sent chills through the scientific community. This presence had been waiting, perhaps even studying us, long before we had the technology to comprehend its signals. The universe, once imagined as empty and indifferent, suddenly seemed alive with intention, and humanity's mechanical explorers had unwittingly stumbled into a surveillance that spanned decades. What had been written off as chance now appeared deliberate, a reminder that the cosmos may hold secrets far older and more aware than anyone dared imagine. As Voyager 2 continued its journey, the object's behavior grew increasingly baffling. It didn't follow gravitational paths like a comet or asteroid. Instead, its trajectory bent unnaturally, as if manipulating space itself to remain hidden. Every simulation using known physics failed to replicate its movements. It accelerated and decelerated at will, hovering just beyond the reach of optical instruments, reacting only to the probe's transmissions. Magnetic readings from Voyager's instruments began to fluctuate violently, shifts so sharp they suggested active interference, as if the object was not just observing, but interacting with the surrounding space. Energy patterns, resembling theoretical warp or Alcubierre-like fields, pulsed in complex, deliberate sequences. The anomaly wasn't fading, it was intensifying, each pulse more pronounced than the last. Scientists began to confront a chilling reality. This was no natural phenomenon. Something intelligent, reactive, and unimaginably advanced was out there, lurking in the darkness, shaping the very fabric of space-time around it. Voyager 2 had not merely detected a presence, it had awakened it. Back on Earth, the anomaly's influence began to ripple outward. Radio telescopes in Chile, Australia, and South Africa started picking up faint, repeating echoes of the same distorted frequency Voyager 2 had recorded. The signals were buried beneath the hem of cosmic background radiation, subtle and easy to overlook, yet they shared a chilling characteristic. They pulsed in perfect synchrony with the probe's transmissions, as if mirroring its every move. Attempts to triangulate the source yielded nothing conclusive, revealing that this presence was not localized. It projected itself across vast regions of space simultaneously. Scientists and analysts were forced to confront the unimaginable. Whatever was out there could observe, respond, and even manipulate distant signals with precision. The pattern wasn't just intelligent, it was strategic, designed to be noticed at the exact moment humanity was capable of understanding it. The discovery ignited heated debates within the scientific community, blending awe with fear. Was this a deliberate first contact, or a warning from an entity whose patience had spanned decades? The very act of observation seemed calculated, suggesting a level of awareness far beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. The timing of the anomaly's response only deepened the mystery. For nearly 5 decades, Voyager 2 had sailed through the void without incident, transmitting its steady stream of data back to Earth. Then, just as artificial intelligence and quantum decoding reached a level capable of interpreting complex signals, the anomaly made itself known. Some scientists theorized that it had been patiently observing humanity all along, waiting until our technology could finally comprehend its message. Governments quietly imposed media blackouts. Private observatories were shut down without explanation, and some AI researchers were reportedly removed from their projects. The question shifted from what the object was to why it chose to respond now. Had Voyager 2 inadvertently triggered first contact, or had humanity finally reached the threshold that this entity had been waiting for? The stakes were no longer just scientific. They were existential. The silent observer in the darkness had awakened, and the realization settled over humanity like a shadow. We had not only been noticed, but we might have provoked a presence far older, far more advanced, and far more aware than anyone had ever imagined. Voyager 2 had become more than a messenger. It had become the catalyst for a revelation that challenged everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. The mysterious object, the mirrored signals, the precisely structured frequencies, none of it fit into the neat categories of human science. Something intelligent, patient, and incomprehensibly advanced was out there, not billions of light years away, but lurking on the edge of our own solar system, observing, analyzing, and responding. The echoes picked up by telescopes across the globe suggested a presence that was vast, coordinated, and deliberate, capable of projecting itself across enormous distances. Simultaneously, humanity had long imagined the cosmos as a silent backdrop indifferent to our existence, but that illusion had been shattered. The real question was no longer whether we were alone, it was what had just woken up, and whether our species was ready for the answer. The next signal could arrive at any moment, and with it might come discoveries that would not only change our understanding of the universe, but redefine who we are entirely. The implications of Voyager 2's encounter sent shockwaves through both classified and public scientific circles. Discussions shifted from mere curiosity to deep, unsettling questions. Why now, after decades of silence? Had the entity been waiting for humanity to develop the tools necessary to decode its presence, only revealing itself once we could comprehend the message? Some theorized that the anomaly was not simply reacting to Voyager 2, but to Earth itself, monitoring our technological progress and deciding the precise moment to make contact. The realization sparked a wave of secrecy. Observatories were quietly shut down, reports were classified, and even leading AI researchers found themselves abruptly removed from critical projects. The cosmic game had changed, and humanity had unwittingly stepped onto a stage far larger than our solar system. For the first time, the universe felt alive, strategic, and aware, and we were forced to confront a chilling possibility. This was not an encounter by chance, but an interaction with an intelligence that had been patiently observing us, calculating and waiting for the perfect moment to respond. In the end, Voyager 2 was no longer just a relic of human ambition drifting through the void. It had become the trigger of a revelation that shattered our sense of cosmic solitude. The moving object, the mirrored transmissions, the carefully encoded signals, all pointed to an intelligence far beyond anything humanity had ever imagined. It lingered on the outskirts of our solar system, watching, learning, and responding in ways that defied physics and comprehension. We had believed the universe was silent, vast, and indifferent, but that illusion was gone. The question was no longer whether we were alone, but what we had just awakened. Every pulse, Every echo hinted that our species had unknowingly stepped into a larger story, one that might redefine not only our understanding of space, but of ourselves. The next signal could come at any moment, and with it, the next discovery could change everything we thought we knew about life, intelligence, and the cosmos. Humanity had sent a messenger into the darkness, and now the darkness had answered.